Welcome everybody, it's Telman. In this video we are going to be talking about the entire storyline to IW Zombies. I'm going to be giving you guys my final thoughts or final review on the entire storyline now that we got pretty much all of it. Now there may be more, but I highly doubt there's going to be any more, but if there is, then I don't care because I'm making this video right now. Also, this is going to be completely off scripted, so these are going to be my raw thoughts on absolutely everything. So if I say something that really doesn't make sense or something like that, I do apologize. It's just something I just want to talk about my raw thoughts on this entire storyline. I'm just going to praise it where it needs praise and of course criticize it where it needs criticism. But anyways, with all that out of the way, let's actually get into this video. So let's start off with the best storyline map of all of IW Zombies, and that's Zombies of Spaceland. Obviously, so obviously, I am being sarcastic because this map was awful for the storyline. This map was the one that scared me away from IW Zombies, and they're lucky I came back during Rave. I don't know why I did, but I did, and I'm happy I did, but I just don't know why I did. Honestly, I don't know why I looked for a storyline inside Rave, because inside Zombies in Spaceland, our storyline was an intro cutscene and 2 ciphers that, oh, these ciphers I do not like for a second. So these ciphers, I don't know what one means. Some people like to explain that it has something to do with the talisman, which if it does, then I'd really dislike it, but I'm hoping it doesn't. I don't really think it does. But the other one I want to talk about is just quoting Mephistopheles, something he says when you're going to fight him in the Super Easter Egg boss fight. It was like, you have served thy master well, and you're just something like that. Ooh, that one was bad, because at first I thought it was cool. Oh look, they hinted at this way back then, but then I realized, how were we supposed to guess that? Why would you give us something that we had no idea what that was going to turn into? We had no idea. They didn't hint at it any further, so there was no way we were going to possibly guess, or even, like, I'm saying guess because normally we try to theorize, but no, this one had to be guess, but we couldn't even guess what this one was going to be. It was awful. The execution of this cipher was so bad because it just really didn't advance the storyline even the slightest way, because if you look at Treyarch Zombies ciphers, they affect the storyline very, very much. But unlike IW Zombies ciphers, which I don't know. And I'm not saying you should tell your stories through ciphers. I don't agree with that either. But I don't like how they pulled off this cipher either. It was a really bad idea, and I guess that's why they stopped doing them, because they stopped making sense and there was no real reason to do it. They did one more inside Rave in the Redwoods, but it wasn't good either. But anyways, it was a really bad time for the storyline. It scared a ton of storyline people away, just like myself for a while. But anyways, that's I'll just say right away, Zombies of Spaceland was awful for storyline. But one thing it was really good at, and I do regret not playing it enough, but it's actually a really good gameplay map. I love playing it, and at first it wasn't that great because the Easter egg was absolutely impossible. But anyways, it was just kind of really difficult at first, but it was really good once it was patched up. And I've played it through multiple times now, and I really like the map for gameplay reasons, not storyline reasons still. I don't care what they did to it, it's still a bad map for the storyline. And this is a problem because people will tell me that they were kind of playing all this. Also, I want to mention it didn't have an ending cutscene, which kind of killed it a lot, because Zombies is now expected to have an ending cutscene. When it didn't, it killed it for a lot of people, especially how hard people grinded at that Easter egg just to not get an ending cutscene or anything. We just got a soul key that we had no idea what the soul keys were going to be used for, so we just had to assume it was important. They gave us no reason to believe it was important. We just had to pretend it was important. But I know they were kind of planning things for the future and everything, but it was really bad on their part. You shouldn't have done this. It just doesn't make sense. It scared too many people away. All the storyline people don't even care about it. They're lucky I even stayed around and looked for the storyline, because why do you think everybody left? Why do you think Mr. Dalek or Mr. Ruffle Waffles don't make videos on these things? Of course, there's a ton of other ones, but those are the ones at the top of my head. But it's because there was no storyline inside Zombies in Spaceland, so why would they think to look for storyline in the next maps? And there's another problem with this storyline thing I'll get into in a bit. I think I'll probably do it at the end of the video, because I want to talk about it in a broader sense. There's 2 things I want to talk about at the end. But anyways, let's go on to the next map, because I don't want to spend too much more time on Zombies in Spaceland. Now, Rave, here we go. This is where the storyline really started to happen. So we had a really cool Easter egg also. We also had the ending cutscene this time, which I'm not a fan of the ending cutscene still. But anyways, we had some storyline that was told through the charms. The memory charms gave us storyline on characters characters who went through these films before, but unfortunately didn't make it through. They gave us a story of his daughter and her husband and a bunch of other people. It was just really cool. And it actually gave us this image of Willard being a really evil person, actually, which is kind of weird, and I'll get back to that later on again, because there's a lot of things I want to talk about in context to other things, so I'll come back to a lot of things that were said inside Rave. But anyways, it was really cool what they did. They gave us background to characters that went through these films before us, which they never did to the same level in the next maps, which I find very unfortunate. They were really cool, and I just don't know why they didn't continue doing them. But anyways, it was really cool the first time around. They also gave us a story to Kevin and Jay, which is, again, is something I don't know why they stopped doing. Actually, it's just so cool because it told the story of Kevin and why he was here and how he got here and all this stuff. But then we didn't know why Pam was there. We still don't know why David. We don't know why Elvira was there either. So it's just not cool because Kevin had a good story and nobody else did. It felt very well, I don't even know what word to use here, but I don't know, it just felt awful that they didn't get a story and that only Kevin did, because they did a pretty good job at it. And this was cool because not only did they actually tell this story about Kevin, they actually wove it in with the Easter egg, and this is something that they forgot to do throughout the rest of their maps. And this is why I love Rave so much, because Rave had the story mixed with the Easter egg, which is something that's always happened in Zombies. It was just a thing. The Easter egg and storyline always went together. That's how gameplay and gameplay and storyline combines, because they combine through the Easter egg. They meet each other halfway. That's how you get the storyline and the gameplay to work together, through the Easter eggs. But this map did it, and all the other maps forgot to do it, and I have a bigger complaint, and I'm actually going to say it right now, because through the rest of the maps, the storyline really doesn't affect the Easter egg at all, and it just doesn't, I just don't know why, actually. It just makes no sense to me at all, because the storyline felt like it really should have been a part of the Easter egg. This is another reason why nobody was aware of a storyline, because we didn't think there was going to be a storyline. If you just play the Easter eggs, there was no reason to believe there was going to be a storyline, because you had to go search for these storyline things in other places. You have to go for the memory charms, which really aren't worth it unless you're just going for all the trophies and everything. They just didn't feel worth it, and a lot of different things, it's just not worth it. Also, you hear some Willard Wyler quotes, which are really, really cool. I'll get to in just a second inside Rave in the Redwoods, but the only way to hear them is by staying in the Afterlife Arcade for about 30 billion years, which is not, well, ideal, obviously. You don't want to stay in the Afterlife Arcade the entire time. But anyways, it just doesn't make sense why they didn't continue this method of combining the storyline and Easter eggs together. It just doesn't make sense why they didn't do that. There's a really good way. That's what Treyarch is so good at. They could tell the storyline while you're playing Easter egg. And sometimes I know the storyline gets in the way of the Easter eggs, but for the most part, it works just fine. The storyline is being told at the same time while you're doing the Easter egg. It's just so cool. You can ignore the storyline if you're not interested, but it was just so cool that they did this. And this is why Rave is one. I said Beats from Beyond is my favorite map, but I still think Rave is my favorite map, because there's just so many things they did right in Rave. Rave was just such a good map. I just loved it for so many different reasons. But anyways, they did a lot of things inside Rave and didn't continue it, and that's my main problem. But one thing they did continue, which I'm very happy about, is the quotes I talked about from Willard Wyler from the Afterlife Arcade. And these quotes were just talking about his past, and they were really, really cool. We found out about his daughter, his wife, and all these different things, and they gave us a really good understanding of Willard Wyler. But again, our characters, we have to wait till we understood our characters for a couple more maps, or the next map. But it was really, really cool, and they did actually continue this, and I was very, very happy with that. But anyways, going on to the next map, Shell and Shuffle. And Shell and Shuffle was a pretty interesting map. I really liked the character bios. The character bios gave a background to our characters, but once again, nobody knows about this because it was done on a weird side quest to get the nunchucks, excuse me. The nunchucks were just there to get, and not that many people actually got them. You could look at the percentage of people who actually got the nunchucks. I think it was like 2%. So I don't know. Of course you get a trophy, that's how I know. But anyways, it just doesn't make sense why you wouldn't mix the storyline with it, because you have to do other weird things to hear the storyline. Just something I was very disappointed in, because they did it inside Rave and then they forgot to do it in all the other maps. But anyways, regardless, I love the memory. Oh my gosh, I'm talking about the wrong thing about memory charms. The character bios, they were so good. They gave background to the characters. They gave some actual feelings to these characters, what they were doing, why they were there, and it was just so cool. I wish they would have done it a little bit more, and I wish they would have done it in a little better method, and maybe something that wasn't just punching some things around the map, or punching some clocks, or punching some microphones. I just wish they would have done it in a better way, just for more people can know about it. That's my biggest problem with their storyline, is how they told it. It was really bad that it was just that not that many people know about it. But anyways, I love the quotes nonetheless. They were absolutely amazing. But anyways, I don't think there's that much else to talk about inside this map, because I don't have that much of a problem with it, but I do like how they told, I do like the storyline they told, I just don't like how they told it. But anyways, going on to Attack of the Radioactive Thing, and this one, this map, I may have some really serious salt towards it because of how you actually get these storyline quotes. Because you have to beat the entire Easter egg to hear the storyline quotes, but you can only hear 4 quotes every single time when you're playing as different characters. So you have to, so what I had to do is beat the Easter egg over and over again with different characters. So oh my gosh, so I had to beat the Easter egg so many times just to collect some storyline quotes, and this is really hard to get because even when you play them yourself and do it, because this one's very possible to do, because this one is, of course, it's not woven in with the Easter egg, but it's still something you could do after the Easter egg. But the thing is that it's really hard to do when you're playing with multiple people, or even solo is even worse, because that's what I did. Because even if you're playing multiple people, then you can only hear your character's quotes, so you're going to have to beat it over and over because you can't hear what Willard's saying about the other characters. At least I don't think so. You might be able to, actually. But regardless, it was a very awful way of telling the story once again. But regardless, these quotes were amazing. They gave some more character to Willard Wyler. And this is another problem with it, though, because in these quotes from Attack of the Radioactive Thing, they gave us this picture of Willard Wyler as a good guy. It was this guy who was trying to do things. He kind of regretted what happened to his daughter and his wife. He wanted our characters to succeed. And if you guys have watched my video, that's exactly what I said inside that video, so you might have heard that before. But anyways, it's just so weird that inside Rave in the Redwoods we painted the devil as Willard Wyler, but in this map he's not. And this is something that I thought was amazing. I still think it's amazing to this day, because I think they should, and the problem was that they didn't expand on it, but unless they do in the future, I won't have a problem with that. But at this time, we just don't know if Willard Wyler's a good guy or a bad guy. It keeps us guessing if Willard Wyler, which one's it? Because we're constantly hearing he's a bad guy, he's a bad guy, he's a bad guy, he's a bad guy. He's yelling at you, telling you he wants you to die, and all this stuff. But then we hear these small things that plants a seed of doubt if he's actually a bad guy or not. I think it's an absolutely amazing way of telling the storyline, because to this day we still don't know. And they could actually keep continuing this as long as they continue it, and we still question if he's a good guy or a bad guy. And maybe in the next game we could have constantly telling us he's a good guy, but then we have the small hints saying, hey, he's a bad guy actually, dude, don't trust him, or something like that. It'd be so cool. And that's what I think Treyarch did with what's his name, Rick Toffin. I think they did such a good job at that, and I think they could pull the same thing off, if not better, if they continue doing this. Hopefully their story continues and they do this. I really hope they do that. It'd be absolutely amazing if that happens, but I really like that. You guys wouldn't believe. I really like that aspect of the storyline, but I still, again, don't like how you got this part of the storyline. But anyways, going into the final map, but what's this map called? I completely forgot as I was about to say it. But the Beast from Beyond is kind of awful for the storyline. And well, it's awful. It's not really awful, because this one, their storyline was told in cutscenes instead, which I don't have a problem with, because telling your storyline through cutscenes is not. Treyarch didn't really do that because they were doing their own thing. They didn't really tell their stories through cutscenes either, but I don't know, this one they did it, and I don't really know what I think about it, because I don't exactly understand what they were doing with the cutscenes, because I know that this is with the last DLC, and they're supposed to set up a lot of questions, because they expect to make another game in the future. They have to keep you guessing and keep you wanting to come back for more when their next game comes out. And now I always understand that's what Treyarch did, and I don't have a problem with Infinity Ward doing it, but it left a lot of questions out, and I don't really mind it that much. I don't mind that we don't understand what the heck happened with Mephistopheles. One thing I will criticize though is I don't like this one, but why Mephistopheles, in the intro to the ending, or the intro to the boss fight, to fight him, you hear him saying that he wants you to collect souls, but then he randomly says to bow to him, and then randomly right after that says he's going to collect our souls. That made no sense at all. So at first he's saying, hey, collect souls for me, but then he decides, nah, never mind. Oh no, he's thinking, oh, bow to me, because I guess you gotta bow to him now. And then after that he just completely switches out. Never mind, I'll just take your souls. I didn't understand that one. But anyways, regardless, I really did like one part of that, is that it ended off saying that there's countless souls that are at stake here. and I really want to hear what those are in the future. We keep getting hinted at these souls, these countless souls, and I really want to see what they are. So we'll find out hopefully in their next game, which is going to be a while from now. I'm pretty sure we're going to get the continuation to the storyline, because I think Zombies was the most successful part of IW and as a whole, the entire game. I think it outshined the campaign as good as it was. But anyways, now I want to talk about it in a broader sense through the entire thing. And well, actually I should talk about the ending for Zombies: The Spaceland that we got. It was fine. It was just, again, one of those things that just like said, hey, there's going to be more to the storyline. So I don't mind that at all. That's what Treyarch does every single time. They can do it too. I don't have a big problem with it. So anyway, that's what I want to say. But anyways, let's talk about these Easter eggs in a broader sense, and this is why I don't like the cutscenes. Well, at least the first 3 cutscenes and kind of Zombies in Spaceland, even though it didn't really have a cutscene, but I'm going to count it anyway, so the 4 of them. I didn't like how you transferred from map to map, because there was no storyline at all being told, and this is not new to Zombies. This same exact thing happened inside Black Ops 3 Zombies. All we did was, inside IW's case, we collected the soul key, went to the next map, collected the soul key, went to the next map, collected the soul key, go to the next map, collected the soul key, go to the next map. And inside Treyarch Zombies, you collected the 1.0 character soul, went to the next map, collect the 1.0 character soul, and you go to the next map. And this is why I think it was a bigger problem for IW Zombies than Treyarch, because not that many people complained about it, excluding myself. I had a problem with it. I complained about it at the time, but I don't think that many people really cared. So the thing is that you continue that inside IW Zombies, and people were already burnt out. That happened 3 times in Treyarch Zombies, and now you're going to make it happen 4 times to us before we get the 5th time when it actually does something. And oh my gosh, I was not happy when they went down that path. Ooh, I was not happy when they did that, because we just had the same thing at the end. And I blame boss fights for this, and I don't think they're actually, I don't know, it's hard for me. I think it has to do with the boss fights, because you have to beat a boss every single time. So why would your reward change every time? I guess you could see it from that way, but at the same time, I don't know. I feel like it's the boss fights' fault that the stories have to be told in this way. But I don't know, I really feel boss fights really limit the storyline, and I don't know, it's just something I think, but maybe it's not actually the case. But I'm not really going to get into that discussion, because I already talked about it in a separate video. But anyways, the real problem is that we just got here repeating absolutely every single map. And another problem, and I already touched on this, but I want to touch on it even more, is just how the storyline was told. And this is, like I said, this is my biggest problem with this storyline. It's just the execution of the storyline. And also, like, actually I missed something about Beast from Beyond. Now, like I said, this is completely off script, so I do apologize for jumping around like this. But the Beast from Beyond was really bad for the storyline also. It has to be second to worst, right after Zombies in Spaceland, because there was like no audio quotes at all. Now I know there's some and I also have a big problem with the extinction being added into the map the way it was, but it just didn't feel like there was anything being told inside the map. There was no audio quotes that you could obviously find. I'm pretty sure there's some quotes from Samantha Cross hidden in there, but they're just going to be so hard to find, and our characters aren't really saying much unless you have to be playing co-op, which you probably are, come to think of it, because all the quotes are hidden behind playing co-op with all 4 players, which is another big problem for me. Especially when you're listening to quotes on audio files, you're all like, oh wow, there was all this thing this entire time. So maybe there's more. I shouldn't say that just yet, but I don't know. It just felt like there was something missing there. It just felt like the storyline wasn't being told while you were playing. And that's the problem that it suffered throughout all of its season except in Rave. I just don't know why they did this. But anyways, it's just another problem. But also another thing I want to talk about Beast from Beyond is just the way they kind of mix Zombies and Extinction together, because Extinction already had a solid story. That had a really solid story, and if you guys know that story, then you guys would understand. Extinction had its very solid story. So what I was expecting is that we were going to get a combination. There's actually going to be a greater influence of the Extinction inside this map than Zombies. But of course I'm completely wrong about that, and we actually got like the smallest influence of Extinction in the world. We just had some cryptids show up every now and then. You spawn and there was cryptids, and the cryptids show up every now and then. And the boss fight had cryptids. So yeah, it's Extinction, guys. I swear this is Extinction, and this is my problem with it, because I don't feel like the Extinction story was really prominent in this story, because it was supposed to be a combination of the two. That's why at least it felt like it was. It wasn't zombies with a touch of extinction. That's what I was expecting, extinction and zombies combined, not, like I just said, zombies with a touch of extinction. But that's what we got, and it really disappointed me. Maybe that was just my expectations that really ruined that part for me, but I don't know. I really felt like they should have done more with extinction. They should have made extinction more prominent inside the story. But I don't know, maybe there's more hidden, and if it is still hidden and I just haven't found it yet, then I don't like that either, because you're probably going to have to go on this crazy quest that nobody actually knows what to do, and you have to collect these quotes in the most, I don't even know the most weirdest way to do, maybe, I don't know, but we'll have to see. But anyways, I think that's it. There's one other thing I wanted to say about the broader storyline, but I felt like I already touched enough on it. I was going to go ahead and talk about the problem throughout the entire season, and like I said, I've said this 30 billion times throughout this video, but I'll say it once more. The biggest problem with its storyline is how they told it. Their storyline did a really good job at being subtle and letting itself build up. I really like that they did that. They didn't do what Exo Zombies did. They didn't shove a bunch of storyline and say, this makes sense, this makes sense, I swear it makes sense. They would let the storyline build up. I love that about them. That's one thing they did great. But the thing was, they were letting it build up, but nobody saw that. Nobody heard about it because their storyline was told in a weird way. Nobody was aware of. No, I swear, ask half of the players, no, maybe even more than half of the players who play IW Zombies. They don't know about this storyline. Like, I only have a couple, what, 1,000 views on my entire storyline video explained. So I don't think that many people actually understand the storyline. They don't know that there's some actual background to our characters. They don't know Willard Wyler was actually maybe a good guy, because everyone was convinced he was just this bad guy who wanted our characters dead for his film. Actually, this is what I think most people think about the storyline because of the method of the storyline being told. They think Willard Wyler actually wanted our characters to die for he can make his next big movie. I honestly think that's what they thought. I honestly believe they actually think that that's what the storyline is. Willard Wyler wanting our characters to die, but that couldn't be farther from the truth. But I don't know, it's just their method of telling story is my biggest problem with it, but my biggest praise for it is how they built it up. I love how they built up this storyline. Rave was so beautiful. I loved how they did that map so much. But anyways, I'm just going to have to end the video here. I know it's really long, but of course it's a discussion video, excuse me. So I just want to do that. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. And also, I thank you even more if you actually subscribed. Well, unless you're already subscribed, that doesn't really matter. But then if you liked, shared, hit the bell button or anything like that, I thank you guys even more for doing so. But I'm going to go and I will catch you guys on my next video.